Hey there, Janae with Malin Projects here, and in this video I am going to be planting up all of my flower starts that I started from seed. So I have 4 different flats. Some of the flats look a little bit better than others, and honestly all of them need to be planted out. It is raining pretty significantly behind me, or in our yard, in our area. But I need to get these flowers into the ground because they're starting to languish. Case in point, look at those zinnias. You know, ooh, I just spilled water all over me. Ooh, that was a little, I guess it doesn't matter because I'm going out in the rain anyways. They're starting to languish in these. Like, look at the look at the root system on this bad boy. I mean, that root system is a root system of needing to go out and be able to spread out. So I have a variety of plants here. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I don't know how, but I got quite a few lavender plants. I planted the lavender pretty early on and nothing happened. And then like right before I put them out on our front patio to harden off, then all of a sudden they started to sprout. And I think like even from the last time I checked them, there's more lavender plants there. So I don't know. I don't know if it was too hot in my seedling room or what went on. I don't know. And if I look, like these snapdragons, these are the apple blossom. Yeah. They should have been separated and I just didn't get around to it. The amaranth is looking great. I don't even remember what all is in here, to be honest. Carnations. Gaillardia? Is that Gaillardia? I think that's Gaillardia. Gaillardia, lollipop Gaillardia. Hold on a second. See, like right here, like these guys are starting to die off. They just need to be planted out. So I have white snaps, tequila sunrise snaps, bachelor buttons, milkweed, what is that? Straw flowers. I gave some away already. Apricot straw flowers, tall, double, straw flowers, purple red, buckwheat, calendula is back here, and then my saddest tray of all. Right here, guys. This is my saddest tray. I probably should have just condensed these guys down so I wasn't having to move this whole tray in and out, but my green coneflowers didn't germinate at all. Salvia looks pretty good. Bachelor buttons look good. I don't think I got one yellow aster. I got a couple salmon asters. And then no rose, or rose, however you pronounce it, asters. This tray was my fault. I planted that tray and the other one up at the same time. And then we went away for a weekend. Like right after I planted it, or like couple weeks after, like 2 weeks after I planted it, I think. And I kind of told you guys this in my seedling update. They dried out and I think it killed the germination on those seeds. So note to self, if you have if you have plans in the upcoming weekend and you start seeds, figure out a way to keep your seeds moist. Lesson learned on that one. But I still think I have plenty of flowers. This is a lot more than what I planted last year. The carnations should be a perennial. The lavender is a perennial. And I think the salvia will reseed itself. I already have some coming up from last year. That was PJ, a rooster. And I think that's it for perennial stuff. All of this is annuals, basically. So the reason why I am planting, or I did start so many annuals this year, thanks PJ, is because I have a lot of area to cover in the back row, and I've found, and I mean it's logic as well, the more you plant, the less you have to weed, because the plants themselves choke out the weeds. Mother Nature's going to cover herself one way or another, whether that is in the plants you want or the plants you don't want, because weeds are just plants that you don't want in an area. You know, we love grass in our yard. We don't like it in our flower bed, so it's considered a weed in our flower bed. You know, it is what it is. But I would rather not have to weed a whole ton in my back row and have beautiful things to look at. So that's why I started basically 4 flats, and I have much more to go. It's all sitting to the right of me still, but I definitely, for sure, desperately need to get this stuff in the garden. So this video is going to be filmed a little bit differently because it is pouring rain, and I apologize, guys, but I just need to get this stuff in the ground. I don't have time to keep it on my front patio anymore, else these plants are gonna die. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set you guys up underneath our patio. You're gonna get to see not all of our back row, but the better portion of our back row, and then I'm just gonna go along and plant everything, and we'll give you tours and kind of show you guys what we did, and I'll try and update you once I'm done if I remember exactly where I planted everything, or it'll just be a surprise. I'm kind of thinking it probably will be more on the surprise avenue, just because it's going to be so hectic with it raining and me just trying to get 4 flats worth of flowers in the ground. I do know I want all of the lavender that I've started, I want to do that as a border plant on my half moon garden. So that is one plant I do know where that is going to be specifically, but otherwise all of, oh, and the carnations. I want the carnations to go in front of my forsythia and kind of by my black lace elderberry, because I think that will be really pretty to have carnations there in little groupings. But other than that, annuals, I'm just gonna polka dot everywhere and call it good. All the drip is set up. It's not hooked up, but it's set up. It's ran to everything in the back row, so I don't even have to worry about hooking up drip today. I just basically have to plop them in the ground. I'm not gonna put any fertilizer. I should sprinkle fertilizer, but I'm not, because I just put compost down. So I'm not going to put any fertilizer in. I'm not going to do any biotone or anything like that. I am literally going to take my fancy dancy spoon, the serving spoon from the kitchen. It's just, you know, one of the bigger spoons out of a cutlery set. I'm going to take my spoon, I'm going to dip it in, pull the dirt back, and just bloop, plop it in. I might, on some of these zinnias, I might pinch them. Oop, there we go. This will encourage side growths, so you can already see there's little side growth pieces that are starting to come up there. Ideally, you would have done this sooner, but you know, procrastination at its finest. So it was starting to bloom though, the little bloom. Kind of brutal to do it, but I want more zinnias. I might use these. So another reason why I was growing so many annuals this year, and such different varieties, I am going to be using them in my wedding bouquets as well. I am not a wedding florist by any means, but I am a photographer, and as a gift I like to take my brides just flowers from my own garden. And so I make a small bouquet. I mean, it's nothing special. I think I have a couple pictures of some of the weddings that I did last year that I might throw up on the screen and show you guys what I do. But that's the other reason why. So I will be using the zinnias and like the amaranth and a couple others as cut flowers. I do have other flowers that I'm going to be, other bulbs and flowers that I'm going to be doing this year for the bouquets as well, but it's just something that I like to do for my brides. So that was the other reason why I was starting so many flowers, so that I could have enough to cut for those brides. And so again, it's one of the reasons why I need to get this stuff in the ground so it'll grow, so it'll produce beautiful flowers so that I can actually pick and make bouquets for my brides. But anywho, I wanted to, because the zinnias have such a healthy root system, I wanted to kind of pop a couple of these others out and just kind of look at them and see what's going on here with a couple of these other varieties. Yeah, see, that's why, like, look at that. It's almost like kind of starting to rot a little bit. That's why I need to get these guys in the ground. Let me plop. One of these gaillardias or calendulas, whatever they are. Yeah, oh my goodness, guys. Look at that root system. Look at that root system. This poor little plant. It's like, I need water. Yeah, so those guys are pretty big. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly why I need to get these out of their cans, or their plug trays. Look, yeah, see? They're massive and they need to get in the ground. So, okay. Let me set you guys up and I will start planting. what is that? 4 flats of flowers planted. So I'll give you a tour once everything kind of gets settled in and starts growing a little bit. But honestly, we're gonna have one heck of a show this year if everything takes. I mean, one heck, and I probably have dirt everywhere. Sorry, guys. It was very muddy. I trucked mud under our patio. It is, and I'm just covered head to toe in like mud, dirt, all of it, which is glorious. But we are gonna have one glorious show. It was getting to the point where I was having troubles finding places for these annual flowers to go. I do have quite a few perennials that I still need to get in the ground, and so I was kind of working around those areas and making sure that I still had spots for those. But honestly, I think it'll be pretty cool. So I did plant the lavender instead of like all in a hedge going around, because I still have a lot of weeding to do in the half moon. I planted it in kind of a clump. If everything works out and everything takes, then I will transplant in the fall, probably. And then I planted all of the Gaillardia underneath one of the plums. I'm not super afraid of me doing a mass planting there because I have a ton of herbs and other things that I need to go in that area. So it's not like I needed to put a ton of annuals in that area to cover that up, because I still have a lot coming that I need to plant. All of those herbs that I started with you guys, I'm probably going to be planting some vegetables in that area too, just to get them in the ground and get them planted, because we don't have all of our garden boxes built yet, and the ones I do have built, I've put in like asparagus and raspberries and, you know, like our perennial fruit and vegetable plants. Oh my gosh, I'm just sweating. So I really wanted to pack the back row out as much as possible and then fill in like the half moon and the garden spaces with what's left over after I get the perennials in the ground. So it feels pretty good to have everything in the ground though, and I really hope that everything's a lot happier. When I was, it was weird when I was taking them out of their plug trays, it's like half of them, I wonder if they were sitting on on the patio a little weird, or if the patio's kind of tilted, because like half of the plugs were just completely soaked, and then the other half of the plugs in the same tray were bone dry. So I'm not sure what was happening there, but I definitely could see a difference in what had been watered and then sat in water versus what wasn't getting water or wasn't wicking up water from the bottom of the tray. So that was kind of weird. I'll have to figure that out for next year, but I'm not super worried about it because it's in the ground now. Everything's in the ground and everything seems to be a lot happier. So we'll monitor. I might come through with a slow release fertilizer in a month or so and just kind of give them a good dousing, or I'll come through with my annual fertilizer every now and then and just water by can and give them some, you know, much needed nutrients, because annuals are typically high performers, so you really want those blooms, not necessarily like perennials or your big structural pieces where you typically only fertilize those guys with a slow release once or twice a year. Annuals need a lot more fertilizer, a lot more food in order to produce all of those blooms all of the time. So we'll see about fertilizing. We'll see how gung-ho I am with the fertilization. Honestly, the more I fertilize, the more blooms I'm gonna get. So, you know, it's kind of a catch-22. Do I want the blooms, or do I want the blooms in the work, or do I just want to kind of let them take what's in the ground and bloom with what they have? So honestly, I have a ton this year, and like I said, if everything takes, I'm just gonna be out my ears with flowers, which is great. It's a great problem to have, and I don't have to necessarily weed, so that's even better. A lot less time in that category for both situations there. So anyways, there was not a lot to learn from this. This is just kind of more of like a seedling update and getting them in the ground for you guys. But if you have any questions, if you want to have an update sooner or something like that, comment below, and we'll see you in the next project. Thanks, guys. Bye.